And we are back. I just got one tournament opening up, one of those progressive sit and goes, and actually I'm suffering from a runny nose, so I stole a box of Kleenex from Dayah's office. So hopefully I can do the whole coaching as long as the tables are running. If I can't, or if my voice breaks, then we need to make it a bit shorter. But I'm quite hopeful that we are going to have a fun one to the end. And I'm saying the same as Dayah to Kaleon, that priorities. If you need to take a sauna, you are taking it when the blinds are low and you are not going to take the... And with Queen 9 off, we are getting it in, and we are quite soon getting to the add-on break here. I think the next break is in 20 minutes, and we are already with 1.5 and 3k. This is going to be interesting, because it seems like these Sunday Million satellites are having even more insane structure than the other ones. So these Sunday Million sats might get slightly expensive. I was wondering why it's going to be such a... The blinds are going into such a high level, and I thought the add-on period should be right around now, but it's going to be 5 levels from now. So we are hoping to get good cards, and we are really hoping to get it good. Getting a good stack, and it doesn't require much, because we just need to have 2 good hands in a row, and we are having a huge stack, because there will be so many guys that are inclined to push it all in with the blinds so high. The current prize pool is going to have 16 entries to the tournament, and it's increasing in a quite insane way. But when there are 170 players already giving up, it's going to be good, hopefully. In the end, there will be Sunday Million tickets. That much I can promise. I just don't know if I'm going to be the one receiving the Sunday Million tickets, but in the end there will be Sunday Million tickets. And this is going to be quite stupid. But I'm now feeling like I just don't know how to use the Kleenex box. Like, luckily this is a poker coaching and not live coaching, because I would suck at it. Chap Queen off, we are going to get it in, because there's going to be at least the big blind is going to be all in. We are having quite a nice equity against all hands, and we are just having 1 big blind stack. But the supernova free roll, you can see it's like a complete antithesis for the... And this Matti 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guy, this guy shoved for 10 big blinds and he called with 5-7 offsuit. With 5-7 offsuit. Doesn't make any sense. I thought so, and with ace-5 suited we are going to get it in, and we are going to get it in nicely. And this Matti guy, he's still having 8 big blinds, so he shouldn't be calling any 2. And he seems to be in the mode that he is calling any 2. But well, now we know where the not so good players in the Sunday Million come from. And now you are probably seeing why I said that this satellite can get quite expensive. I don't know why I have lost my auto rebuy, because it should be on. Or are they just like, you are an idiot when you are rebuying at such a time. Please reconsider what you are doing. And 5-6 offsuit is nuts by Kauris. I think that you are getting the feeling on how to play this, and now it's going to be again 10-9 off. We are getting the price we need, and we are not going to be dominated, and we just hope to win a few pots in a row. And we won a pot. We won a 4-way pot, and we are still having less than 4 big blinds anti-adjusted. So it's going to get exciting for sure. And as we can see, most of the guys here aren't very deep, so we are not risking that much if we are calling somewhere, but the calling ranges and shoving ranges should start to be quite fluid in this game. So we are seeing different kind of play that we aren't seeing on many other tournaments, because we are going to be so short, or so the table is going to be so short when you are looking at the level of blinds. So it's going to be slightly interesting. And even in here, the 3 times turbo, I would have been calling, and with Matti I'm going to be calling. I have seen him play such a weird selection of hands. And when Demorian is opening, I'm not going to be touching that one, especially when Road to Nepal is calling. And I don't know what I should be doing now. Should I be going bulldozer when I'm getting a large stack in there, even though it's not going to be that much use for me? Maybe because all the other guys are going to be so short. But Matti, even though we have seen 5-7 off, we are also seeing pretty much also other stuff. And this is also that even though the blinds and antes are 6,000, he's effectively going to shove more, and I'm thinking that he should have a better hand when he's shoving the 3 to 4 big blinds. because there is not a lot that he can win on the blinds because the blinds are so short. Now I know what's the delay on the stream. Just coffee, Kauris, just coffee. But I have been watching a lot of the Terminators videos from YouTube and they are golden. Before Poker Mania, they were the best poker content freely available on YouTube, for sure. But now we can see that the rebuy counter has increased by quite a lot. Like, we got double rebuys on, I think, 4 hands in a row. And I think we are still going to be double rebuying instead of single rebuying because we are getting so much bigger stack if we are double rebuying and we are winning it. So we are playing for practically double the amount of money for. And then we are less likely to be needing another rebuy after we win a hand. But now there should be that people should be quite... It's going to be 6k, 12k when we are on the add-on period, so add-on is only 2.5. 2.5 big blinds. That's actually a bit surprising. Because 3 times turbo satellites don't seem to have as good of a structure as the 3 times turbo regular tournaments, although they are really nice tournaments structure-wise because everyone that wins is going to win a decent amount. Like on the other hand, on the 3 times turbos, you practically need to final table it once in a while to make it worthwhile to play. And when there are 11,000 players in the tournament, like so many players, it was 7,000 something. But now when we are at the edge of the late reg, there are so many players trying to get at the edge of late reg. And effectively we are so short that we are going to ship pretty much any ace there. And especially when Matti is there that can call us with 5-7, so we can get some really nice value for our ace-8 as well. And now you see that we are having like one of these, but I have registered for many more. So we are going to see these 3 times turbos and we are going to see a lot of them. And now when someone won the pot, they are now the big stack on the table, and this is going to be interesting because if you are scared money in a 3 times turbo, you are going to just lose your buy-ins a lot more than if you are playing the hand you should be playing. And now, for example, even if Tsigas is shoving it, I'm going to call everybody else except for the Bortskiepke. And I probably screwed up pronouncing that Dutch name. How much time for add-on? There will be 6 more minutes till add-on, so It's going to get even more interesting. Now we didn't even have to do anything then, we are still all in. Now I'm just thinking that are we even winning a piece of that pot? And just min betting here would be better. I just thought that we are deep enough, but then I noticed the other players that we are deep enough with the big blind. So min betting that would be better. Although I don't think that there is going to be much difference. But if you're looking at the players here, this is probably making some problems for me to concentrate on the Supernova free roll, because these games are so different. And even if anybody else than Boatskiepke is going to be shoving, we are going to get it in with Queen 8 off. So it's going to be an interesting structure. Because even Matti he's shoving such a short stack. They are going to be in a heads-up pot against him for over 30k if he shoves. And then we are having piece of equity for another 15k. I think we are 3-betting there the Skumbala, even though he hasn't been playing a lot, but Ace-10 off is one of the better hands for us. Do we won? That's also really nice. Because the more stack we have, the better off we are when the Adam period starts. It's going to be interesting in a way as well, because this is also practicing the real world equities. And when we get 4-bet here, we are going to be folding to Skumbala. Because we are probably going to be needing to get in. We are not getting in against Tsigas or Boatskiepke, but with everybody else, we are getting it in because we need to pay for just one big blind to be in the pot, and there's so much in the pot already by the antes. So, and Boatskiepke is one of the players that we can't get in, and it doesn't matter how he would have played them aces, we wouldn't have been in the pot anyway. But it's going to be good in the Sunday Million set that we are losing players all the time. And the less players we have, the better off we are. Because the more we are getting... And now we are getting it in with Ace-3 off. We are getting it in good. That's also really nice. And we are getting money out of the pot. And that's also really nice. We are of course trying to gather as big of a stack as we can before the add-on period. And it's going to be interesting in a way, because we need to count the stacks that are behind us, but also the antes, because we are 9 players in a hand, so the antes are going to be 9,000 no matter what. Even though the players are short stacked, because the antes are so high, it's going to be pretty profitable to be in the pot with pretty much all the hands, especially if you are having just a short stack. Like having 7 players in a pot doesn't make that anyone has made a mistake per se, but it's just going to be confusing for most of the players that have been studying for ranges that are completely different. But it's what poker normally is, that you need to adjust. But you know that someone like Matti has now made probably 20 rebuys here. Now you know why the 150 plus rake 3x turbo isn't just a $1.5 tourney, because most of the players are going to make a ton of rebuys. There are already almost 3,000 rebuys made in the tournament, and there are players that have been giving up the game as well. So the players that are remaining have been making a ton of rebuys. Against his range, I don't think that we would have been in that good of a state, and I was actually a bit surprised that we see a King Jack suited there. But oh well, even though we would have been ahead of him with that hand, I think against his range we are not going to have that much equity with Ace-8 suited, because we are never a lot ahead of him. We might be slightly ahead of him, but we are never a lot ahead of him. Then Kaudes asked for a stream fail. It shouldn't be failing. Everything should be fine on my end. So and there was a nice hand on the other Sunday Million 3x. We are getting dealt King Queen off, and we are getting one caller with a huge stack after we min raise. Then we are going to bet the flop small, he calls, and then we are on the turn, we are betting and he's re-rating us, and then we are a bit like WTF, you shouldn't have anything. And of course we call because we are not getting any idea of what sensible part of his range should be there. And then we see him turn up the queen high as a bluff. And that's quite a bad bluff for him, because there are like no good cards for him on the turn when he starts, and on the turn it's going to be even worse off for him. So you just need to also know on the 3x turbos that when you are beat, you just don't pour good money after bad money. And we are on one progressive knockout. We are having a decent stack, and we are getting into a money finish. So I'm trying to think about where I should be putting it. I'm putting it there because no. Because I think bubbles should be more interesting, even though Hot 75 is a game that's going to be interesting because the buy-in is so high, but I think the bubble play would be more interesting, and after the bubble play we can switch back to the Hot 75. So now we are on the add-on period there, and we are having decent stack there. We are 33 out of 282, and we need to be extremely cautious on what the structure is, because you can make huge mistakes there if you are playing for if you don't know what the structure is exactly. Like if you know just how many players are getting money, but the smallest money finish is just like $3, you are going to make huge mistakes by just going to the money. But now when it's $125 or $215, it's going to be, I think it's going to be good. And we are on the top end of the players. We are having like 1/2 of the chip leader stack. We are having 279 players, and for some reason only 264 had rebuyed, and that's or taken an add-on, and that's something that you should never be doing. You shouldn't be playing these 3 times turbos if you can't afford the add-on when you are there, and you should never, or you never have big enough stack there that you shouldn't take the add-on. So always take the add-on. That's the moral of the story. And of course you can do like some crazy math that like now there is like there would be a certain, there could be a certain spot that you shouldn't take add-ons, but usually the rule of thumb is that you are always taking add-on. If you are in a rebuy tournament with add-ons, you are always going to be taking the add-on. We are 3-betting Road to Nepal because he has been opening so much, and now when he 4-bets us, it's the first time. I think we need to give it to him. That he likely has a better hand than we do there. And because I'm so busy with the tables I'm playing, I don't have time to look at the Calleon's hand right now. With the King Queen suited, we are having to. If there would have been something like 4k left in his stack, it would have been a good just to push it in there. And we are now we need to call because we are having so many good turns for us. And now we are getting it in against him, so if we would have gotten it in on the turn, we would have shoved it in. And now we are just trying to realize our equity. And we could have gotten some value on some thin value on the river. But I think that we are more inclined to be playing it a bit safe there. And also something to take into account on the Supernova free roll. Like most of the Poker Stars MTTs are playing the top 15% of the players. But for something like the Supernova free roll, it pays for at least top 25%. So you are getting a wider payout than you are used to. But when you are getting into money, after that the structure is going to be really flat for a really long time. So that's something to take into account. That more likely you are going to be cashing the Supernova free roll than pretty much every other game. Oh, Dayah, you got the chips in and then the river splits the pot. And because of the frowny, I think that you did have it good before the river. Now PokerStar is slightly lagging for me, that it takes some delay to do my actions, but I hope everything gets going well soon. I'm usually not that worried. Worried with slight technical hiccups. We are going to be a bit bad here because we are having like probably chip leader and chip second on the same table as us in. And 24 kilo shove, so that's pretty much that even with 4-9 off, we are getting the odds to call here. So we are getting it in, and now on the $11 knockout we are in the money. So that's something interesting. And on the hot 75 we are replacing this turn, even though it's in the money. We are replacing it with the hot 75. And we lost a big pot to Busto soon a few moments ago. And on the Sunday Millions that we would have called this guy, but when the big stack got in as well, then we just can't call it anymore. Now I got the Galleon's hand open. Galleon is in position on the button with King Queen off, and with jacks we are, our fish hooks, we are pretty likely to call there, and we are getting it in good, and we are now getting it even better, and we hold, and now we are good in there. So I'd say now our chances in cashing increased a lot, but it's still a bit nice that we are 6th in chips, but there are two at least probably close to the same size chip stacks in the same table and one huge chip stack. So even though there are like 154, so there are almost 20 tables left, and we are in a table with a huge amount of chips. So I would be, and actually that was something that I should have just shoved, because the trees we are getting enough equity and there is a lot of money in the antes. Antes already in. But Callion gets it in on the turn. So he gets check raised and Callion 3 bets, and the guy has aces. Did Callion lose everything? Nope. He's left with at least 5k. That's good, because as long as you have chips, you have hope. But that's not nice walking into aces like that. Yeah, I think this satellite looks nice, but I still don't think that we are having enough chips to just coast into the money. We are going to need to put our money in some way or sometime, and that's going to be probably something that's something that will feel ugly. Because now we are having such a big stack, but if we are just waiting, we are practically never going to cash. Our stack is just not big enough for cashing by just waiting. But I must say that the satellite looks good, but we have still not won anything in the game, so we'll need to survive at least 1 or 2 all-in still before we can win the ticket, I presume. The best case scenario for us would be that we are getting to a table with smaller chip stacks, and we are getting to a table that we can steal a lot more of our chip stacks, so we don't need to get it in, but we are so that's what we are trying to do. We are hoping that we can steal our way to the money. And the more chips we have, the better it is to steal ourselves to the money, because we are having a lot more. Our stack is having a lot more value as a weapon the more chips we have. Kalan, it's on. Even though the villain is fishy looking, I don't think that you are going to be good enough often enough when he's going to check raise the turn after betting the flop. I think you are getting it in bad most of the time, even with as strong of a hand as the king queen off is there with the top pair. And for Quebec, it's insane shoving here, and shoving a lot, because there's almost the same size stack here. And when we are playing $1.50 game, it's more than likely that people don't know that how tight they should be when it's satellite. And shoving 20 big blinds is, the risk-reward ratio just isn't there. You are risking way too much against the players you are playing against. Perhaps against smart players, the risk-reward ratio would be there because players would be so inclined to fold, but in these games you just... But on the other hand, when I think that I'm a savvy player there, and I'm going to be folding a lot there, and I just hope that I can get away from the player. Away from Quebec. Check then off. There is, and now we are stealing with king 6 off, because we haven't been doing anything in this table that these guys have seen, and also king 6 off is strong enough, and we are hoping to get the blinds enough of the time. And he calls with ace 9. That's not a horrible call, but it's a horrible call for us. And now it looked good for us. And now it doesn't look so good anymore. Even though we are getting quite a nice stack if we are winning this, but now we are in a spot that we need to win 3 or 4 all-ins in a row. And winning 3 or 4 all-ins in a row, it probably isn't just skill, it's also going to be about luck. I'm thinking which tournament should I get there, because now I have space. I'm going to take the progressive knockout that I'm in the money of, because I think that should probably be the most interesting tourney I have going on. I have one another or two 165 3x turbos going on, but they are so early that I don't think that they are that interesting yet. Yeah, at least Kaleon, when you are out with a flip, now you can at least enjoy your sauna like sauna should be enjoyed, so have a nice sweat as well. And we are now in a flip, and we are hoping it holds, because if it holds we are then getting back to the game, and we got away from Kubek. That was pretty important for us. And 27th place is paid. What it means for us right now is that we just can't comfortably relax, but we still need to be aggressive, and 6Cs is a good hand to be aggressive with, because I don't think that there isn't going to be much that is beating us, and even though if we get it in, we are going to get it in quite well, and if we are winning the blinds, that's okay for us, because it almost doubles our stack when we got the blinds. Like, there was 72,000 in the pot previous for my push, and I had just about 100k chips, and now I have 200k chips, so winning the blinds is huge at this point of the tournament. And as you can see, it's going to be quite insane, this 3x turbo satellite, because we were at the top 5, then we crashed and burned with the one hand, with the king 6, king 7, and got to the last possible position, and now we are back with a large stack as well, so interesting. And playing optimally in a satellite usually starts to be might be quite counterintuitive, so please take that into account, and if there's something to ask, please do, because it's going to be easier to be talking here if there are some questions and some chat going on. And Kauris, yes, it was a sick hold. But luckily it goes this way as sometimes as well. And with 9s we are going to be calling, and only bigger pocket pairs we are completely screwed against, and now he had one of those bigger pocket pairs. Actually, this ace queen off is also interesting. When he only min raises, he only calls. I think it's likely that neither of them has a really good hand. I was about to shove there, but I misclicked slightly. And this is what I expected, and we are getting the last 13k in anyway. The pot is going to be so huge. And we are getting a huge pot. That's going to be chip lead. We are moving to another table. Now we are 5 out of 70. And now I think we are probably at the position that we can be quite just not peddling it. We need to shove some for the smaller stacks, but we are very disinclined to play against someone like Diego, Probably if Diego opens, my range will be something like Kings plus. But so we were 5th, then we dropped down to 184th, and now when there are 70 left, we are 5th again, so sometimes it gets sick in these 3 times turbos. Yeah, someone is excited. And it's quite stupid when it's these, like this is a $1.5 tourney and I'm excited about it. It's quite sick when we have seen quite a lot of bigger tourneys here. Or then that there just isn't Dayah to calm me down here. And this was also quite interesting when I folded Ace-Queen suited. I thought that I was ahead of him, but also I'm pretty much there in a way that why risk it when I am pretty sure that I'm going to be in the money if I just don't screw it up. So then I'm just going to be, I am not screwing it up. If you know what I mean. And for Dayah, when she's next room, it's probably going to be not much fun left in there. Because she can hear me, especially if I'm getting excited. I'm opening Ace-Queen off because most of the guys should not be fighting me there. And this is actually quite a thick table because I'm like 5th in chips and then there are like 3 equal or higher stacks on the table with me. Yeah, Mixatin, how sick is that? And here we are having such a short stack that we are going to be pushing it in against the even shorter stack. And I just can't use the Kleenex tower or whatever. It just doesn't want to work with me. And sorry. Kauris, it depends on the action. Do I fold or do I call? And there is not a lot I would fold there, but I think that I haven't gotten the best card run there than I could have. I'm trying to avoid the temptation of marking people in the 3 times turbo because the optimal ranges depend so much on depends so much on the stack sizes, and the players might be good even though their stats should be pretty horrible. We're going to let him fight on it. Even though with H7 we are slightly ahead, we are never a lot ahead. And with 9 jacks suited we are going to call because it's going to be an opportunity for us to get a real big stack. And it's going to be one of the final opportunities of getting the bigger stack. And actually we are having a positive problem because I'm having too much tables because I haven't been busting out of the tables that much. So we should have a real interesting hands or tournaments going over. Flukner shoves no information on him. If I would have information that he's a reg, I would have been calling this in an instant. But so Kauris, on the 3 times turbo, we are still thinking about that. Even ace-x hands, they aren't that good if even the ace-x hands aren't that good if there have been multiple all-ins before me already. And even then the suited hands are more likely to play good. And some of the weaker aces we just need to fold. And this is pretty sucky because we just got a small rebuy. So we are practically made 3 rebuys and we are with the starting stack here, so not the best of opportunities in winning it, but we can still, as long as we are in it, we can win it. Can you show the lobby of the progressive knockout? Yes, my dear, I can. And the first place finish is going to be over 500 bucks because then you are going to win most likely the biggest bounty and then you are going to win your own bounty as well. So it's going to be better than you think. Because half of the prize pool is all about bounties here, and one of our coach won it on a Finnish session, and I think it was something like close to 600 bucks that he won there. Kauris, you should count the equities of the ace-x hands because most of the ace-x hands aren't having good equities in multi-way pots. And you pretty much need to hit the ace, and it's also quite likely that even the ace is blocked. This is pretty much that I'm hating life here, and I probably made a mistake shoving ace-king suited because I'm having the similar kind of stacks behind me, and I'm having the completely insane Kubek on the same table with me again. But luckily I got the chip stack and we are going to start a 5-minute break. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to go to a 5-minute break, refresh up, and we'll be back when the tables resume.